Well, it very much depends on how the regional powers and indeed the global powers react. If they allow the Taliban to govern without too much interference and with some humanitarian support through the UN and other agencies, then there is some hope that if the Taliban's aspirations to have an inclusive and representative government and the claims they're making about respecting minorities and human rights, if they live up to at least a large part of those claims, then there is some hope that there will be at least a degree of normality and indeed maybe even progress. I think the problem, apart from the regional powers and the global powers, is also going to be the Taliban's internal power dynamics. This is an organization that hasn't really worked together at a very large level, and there may well be some power struggles from within that organization. There may well be issues over how progressive and how liberal they may or may not be able to become, because people or members of the Taliban will have different ideas of what good looks like. So I think we really can't forecast the future because it depends a great deal on external and internal dynamics. I think that we have to compare the Taliban with what's gone on before. And one of the things that is happening, and it's quite natural, because most of us have a negative impression of the Taliban. Even the Taliban accept that they behaved very badly in the past. And because of that, we are, in our own minds, rewriting history. We're beginning to think of the life before the Taliban as being idealistic, and it wasn't. A great deal of distress, a great part of the country was not developed, many civilians were dying, and insecurity was rife. And certainly when I was in Kabul, you couldn't have walked around like your reporter was a few minutes ago. So we mustn't assume that life was perfect before the Taliban. Now, coming back to your point about Al-Qaeda and ISIS, if the Americans are saying that there's 300 Al-Qaeda members, the question we must ask is why were they not dealt with by the most sophisticated and powerful army in the history of mankind? Now, it is equally likely that the Taliban, or in fact, it's more likely that the Taliban, because of the way they operate amongst the people, will probably have a better idea of where these people are and how to deal with them. And I think they will probably deal with them very effectively because of the intelligence network and because of their approach to opposition. So we just need to give the Taliban the chance, because it's no point in worrying about what may or may not happen, because there isn't a great deal we can do about it. We can just be concerned. We can look, the world can look on and see what happens. Now, you're absolutely right. ISIS and Al-Qaeda have said some very bad things about this new version of the Taliban. But if they do take the Taliban on, I think we can pretty certain they will have a very difficult time of it. Whether they're successful or not remains to be seen, the Taliban, in eliminating the extremists. Resistance army is formed around Ahmad Massoud's son, who's known by the same name, and also the erstwhile head of the Afghan intelligence services. The difference here between now and in the past, when the Soviets were here and when the Taliban were here last time, is that the Taliban have effectively surrounded the Panjshir Valley. And if they go along the military campaign that they've run in the recent few weeks, it is very likely that they will surround the Panjshir Valley and use this form of siege tactic rather than direct confrontation to bring those people to heel. I fear that we may have a bloody war even then in this particular scenario, which will lead to many deaths. But it is something that I would guess the Taliban will want to resolve fairly rapidly.
Ne olsun? Zavod. Zerkara tamam.